was finishing my patrol through the national park, the sun sinking low and staining the savannah in burnt orange, when I turned onto the dirt road that led back to base. My thoughts were on routine reports and fuel checks, when suddenly, a small leopard cub burst out of the tall grass directly in front of my Jeep. I slammed on the brakes. The tires screamed against the red dust, and the vehicle skidded sideways, stopping just feet from the tiny, trembling body. He didn't run. He just stood there, frozen, his spotted fur puffed up, staring straight into my eyes with a weak meow. There was no fear in that look, only desperation. The kind that grips your chest and tells you instantly that something is terribly wrong. I stepped out of the Jeep, waving my arms to shoo him away. Instead, he rushed toward me, reared up on his hind legs, and planted his tiny paws against my knees. He let out a cry so broken and pleading that my heart nearly split in two. Then he turned, ran a few steps into the grass, looked back and cried again. He wanted me to follow. I grabbed my backpack, water, rope, radio, and followed him through the thorny acacia brush. Sweat burned my eyes as the sun beat down. After only a couple of minutes, the cub stopped beneath a wide tree and ran to a depression in the earth, howling frantically. I stepped closer and froze. A poacher's pitfall trap yawned before me, deep, narrow, and deadly. At the bottom lay an adult leopardess, her body caked in dust, her sides barely rising with each labored breath. Her tongue was dry, her eyes dull. She had been down there for more than a day. The cub paced the edge, crying to her, completely helpless. With shaking hands, I grabbed my radio. Base, this is Kofi, emergency. Adult leopardess trapped in a poacher pit, severe dehydration. "5 seconds later, the reply came. Copy that, Kofi. Team en route. ETA 30 to 40 minutes. The leopardess raised her head slightly and growled, but it was weak, almost a whisper. Her clouded eyes followed me. I crouched slowly, speaking softly. It's okay. I'm here. That's when I saw it. A sand viper, its grey-brown body sliding silently between the rocks, moving toward the leopardess's hind legs. One bite would finish her. My blood went cold. I drew my knife, moved inch by inch, careful not to draw the snake's attention. Its tongue flicked, tasting the air. It was seconds away. I lunged. The steel struck the dirt just behind the viper's head, pinning it as it thrashed violently. One more desperate strike, and the head came free. The fangs snapped uselessly in the dust. I threw the body aside and turned back to the leopardess. She watched me now, not with fear, but with something like stunned recognition. I gently poured water onto her tongue. She drank greedily, desperately, every drop a fight for life. I gave her slow sips, whispering reassurance, my hand resting on her dusty head as she finally closed her eyes and released a faint, vibrating purr. Hyenas. 6 of them circled the pit above, their yellow eyes glowing with hunger. And between them stood the cub, tiny, shaking, roaring with everything his small body could summon. I climbed out of the pit as fast as my arms would allow, my skin burning from the rope's friction. I ran to the Jeep, grabbed a flare gun and a shotgun and sprinted back. The flare exploded above their heads with a thunderous sound and a burst of red fire. The hyenas scattered, but only briefly. They were testing us. Suddenly, the cub charged the alpha hyena, a suicidal act of courage, leaping at its face, claws scraping fur. I fired the shotgun into the dirt at the predator's feet. Dust exploded upward. The hyena recoiled, snarling. The rescue was swift after that. The leopardess was sedated, lifted from the pit, and IVs were started immediately. I rode with them to the rehabilitation center, the cub asleep against my chest, utterly spent. Then months. The leopardess healed completely. And one golden morning, we returned them to the wild. When the cage opened, the leopardess stepped out slowly, savoring the earth beneath her paws. She stretched, then turned to me and pressed her forehead gently against my chest. A silent thank you that no words could ever match. The cub bounded forward, paused, and looked back at me one last time. I knelt and scratched behind his ears. Their lives restored. And long after they were gone, I stood there, knowing I had witnessed something rare and sacred, a bond forged in fear, courage, and survival between a man, a leopard, and the wild itself. Thank you for watching this story. If you believe in the importance of conservation and protecting these incredible animals, please like this video and subscribe to our channel for more stories from the front line of wildlife rescue.